All right, the racers are ready to go.
Officially started, which means, in a few seconds, then we will actually be seeing some video here.
And I wait with anticipation for the screens to change and the clock to start correspondingly. Here we go!
Off we go.
I like it when both players appear at nearly the same time. They're pretty well synced here.
So right, what are we going to be starting with? We're going to speak to the guards. Wait a second, no we're not. We're going to be taking the fighter's ring. Always nice to start with. The dragon scale, nice, little baby equips here.
That's really nice. So 2 attack power and 2 defense. I really like starting with the fighter's ring. It really eliminates any potential worries about having low strength, or at least minimizes them. It looks like they have 9 starting strength and 6 starting agility. And so they'll have 11 strength, which means they will be able to kill as high as magicians if the magicians don't have any crazy abilities. They'll certainly be able to handle ghosts and drakies easily.
So, shadows to the Sparkover bridge right at the start of the game. Both players have put on their fighter's ring and donned their scale of the dragon, and they are off to find things they can punch. Vani finds a slime right away. Still takes a little bit of time, oddly enough, on the desert, but, they both defeat their first slime, and we are, tied for experience. Riveting.
Look at that. So they find their first slime at nearly the exact same time. They find their second slime at nearly the exact same time. You couldn't ask for a more equal opening, as Sylverfyre now finds a red slime to take an ever so slight lead once this battle is won. We see Vanivan has the Mike Jones sprite from Star Tropics, while Sylverfyre has from Dragon Warrior 4. It's either Nara or Mara. I always forget which one is which.
So their encounters, in different order, actually do end up getting them the level at the exact same time. So Courage and Wit serves them well. 14 power, 6 speed, 4 hit points, 5 magic, and a new spell, which is Outside.
Sylverfyre getting 3 HP instead of 4, as Sylverfyre is on the Strength Agility build. That accounts for the difference. And Remolder is close by, so this could be a fairly quick seed. Keys being one of the key elements required to open up a lot of important things in this game.
Oh, I see what you did there. The key element, huh?
I sure did.
So they are going to need to make a little bit of money before they can buy some, but just knowing that it's right there is going to be very helpful. So now Vani also discovers Remolder, walks up instinctively, but I doubt he has enough money to buy keys, and he does not. So we're off to make some money, I think.
After that big power boost, magicians are 2-shottable now, so that's a big boost for Sylverfyre. Vanivan finds a warlock, and that's not really feasible yet.
But they just keep punching away. They've gotten very strong, so it is going to be able to help.
This Death Warp from Vanivan is the easiest way to get HP back, so it came at a good time. Meanwhile, Sylverfyre reaches level 2 with 1 power, 4 response speed, 1 HP, 0 MP, so not much of a level.
0 MP? I know someone who's fond of that.
Relatively.
So Vani finds a scorpion to punch, also it's going well. Sylverfyre's checking out the armor shop and weapon shop. Mostly cheaper things in the close by one here, so after a few more fights, it should be alright to buy something, but right now, Syl chooses to buy nothing and goes on. I'm pretty sure keys are going to be their number 1 priority as far as spending goes.
I still would have bought the bamboo pole and clothes, but Sylverfyre is going to be fine without them too.
Oh, you got a fighter's ring and a dragon scale, that's enough.
You're pretty much set.
The dragon scale is for modesty, you see.
Vanivan gets an excellent move on a scorpion, and Vanivan will actually be the first to reach level 4.
So let's look and see. Vani Wit, 6 power, 12 speed, 8 hit points, 2 magic.
It's another relatively large stat gain level, pretty valuable. I don't know why.
Taking it all in.
Yeah, it was so stunning. Neither player has explored too far, and this makes sense in a seed where you have no heal ability and your HP is relatively low, and the levels are still close together, so fighting Zone 1 monsters really still makes a lot of sense.
So both players have enough money to purchase a key at this point. Looks like Syl is actually heading to town, so we'll see how that works out for them. Oh dear gosh, and actually, unfortunately, the Drakima is able to get an attack, and Syl is sent home. Meanwhile, Vani has saved. I'm sure saving key money was the idea behind that.
I was wondering about that too. I was wondering if there was some idea that I hadn't thought of.
You never know, especially when they have very low health. Vani is in the red zone.
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. Survivability.
Just for extra safety, and Vani is able to make it to town with enough money for 1 key.
And it's only 1 key, but this does open some possibilities. I think the plan is going to be to open the treasury, and of course, if there's 1 gold chest, Vani will be able to buy tons of keys after that.
Mm-hmm. So meanwhile, Syl caught up getting to level 4. Vani gets the key, and we will see if he is going to choose to check out the treasury right away, possibly after saving, or not. Meanwhile, look at all these scenic bridges. Kind of beautiful, don't you think?
I call them pseudo-Sparko bridges. They reach relatively small islands of land with nothing on them, but not quite as low as 1 tile.
So Sylverfyre is fighting a Warlock. I feel like it's going to be a bit of a close fight because Warlocks can still do a lot of damage to them, and unfortunately it does, and Syl is sent home again. Meanwhile, Vani has made it to the treasury, and we're going to be taking a look to see what is there. Did you notice if he saved before he did this?
It doesn't matter. There would be no reset regardless of gold because Remolder's still there. And there's Erdrick's sword.
We've got the harp, the sword, the torch. It keeps getting more exciting.
and the death necklace.
So that actually is quite the exciting find there.
Vani once again pausing and taking in these extraordinary games. Erdrick's sword is going to make a big difference in the fight and going to move to zone 2 immediately and possibly beyond.
You can't believe you finally found a torch. So there is some note in chat. The death necklace actually gives potential to be a slow gold grind chest, and also, of course, there is the basement that we haven't seen yet.
Indeed. Sylverfyre is, we're alternating level gains here. Sylverfyre is actually going to be the first to reach level 5 in this seed, despite Vani getting Erdrick's sword already.
So what did they get? 8 power, 9 speed, 24 hit points, 5 MP, and a new spell, which is Repel.
Ever since the new version and all its revisions, I've seen a ton of relatively erratic level gains. I'm not at all surprised to see these randomly large HP gains, divided up throughout the entire run. It's going to be a nice big boost for Sylverfyre, possibly preparing for more exploration very soon.
So meanwhile, on Vani's side, he found Breckenry and is now taking another walk. I also did notice another town off in the swamp on the west. He might be headed there, though with no way of healing. I've sort of doubted that at the moment. Meanwhile, Syl has bought their keys and is checking down the south bridge for my nice little forest zone.
Sylverfyre employing the exact same plan as Vani, and it's going to pay off. Get that 1 key, open the treasury. If it has gold, you can buy all your keys at Remolder. If it doesn't, maybe the sword's in there, and that's the case tonight.
Yeah, and definitely, if you're able to get the sword from there, which of course we already know that they do, we are able to get the money quite easily. So meanwhile, Vani has hit level 5. Of course, these two runners do have slightly different stats since we're running with strength HP and strength agility, but they're very close to each other. Vani's HP gain, and that one was 26.
Sylverfyre just looking for a little bit of exploration before checking the treasury. I like this because the Death Warp was still required to get that valuable HP back. And they did get that big boost, so there's a lot to gain. And now they're going to go, I think, straight to the treasury and get that sword.
I'd imagine so. They are not quite landlocked as it is, because they do have Breckenry with the herbs that you can purchase. However, when you only have herbs to heal within a giant swamp in front of you, you're probably not going to be prioritizing getting out just quite right away. So Syl now raiding the treasury for their items as well. Also now has the best sword in the game. You wonder why the king wouldn't just, offer that to you in the beginning. Like, here's a fighter's ring. This'll do, right? This is when all the kids are out with the rage these days.
I don't know, I always just assumed some previous king just locked up the treasury and it was forgotten about for generations.
But don't they ever wonder what that locked door is?
And there's a guard living in there. It doesn't make sense.
So Syl goes to Breckenry and will be staying at the inn. Meanwhile, Vani is sent home by the Magiwyvern. There are some scary enemies over here that they can't quite take out yet, but soon.
Even with 54 HP, a Magiwyvern's going to be tough, because it looks like with their current strength, it's going to take a 3 attacks most of the time. They would get lucky. They would be very lucky to kill 1 and 2 attacks. So
Syl sells their fighter's ring. So it is definitely functioned in this game where as long as you put on the fighter's ring or dragon scale, you can sell it after, and the benefit of it will still be on you. Still, also selling their death necklace. This might be because they're using a strength agility name.
Oh, that makes perfect sense.
They might think that it doesn't have as much sorry, words.
That's
as much
really,
potential.
That's really interesting. So it's enough money for half plate, which was pretty much the only possibility other than a large shield. Small shield also there, which is a great pickup for now.
So half plate and a small shield, yeah, some nice little upgrades there. Meanwhile, on the other side, Vani had found the town of Cantlin, so we are going to be able to check right away if we have coordinates. However, choosing not to do that right now. Again, the HP and the lack of healing, sort of a problem for that, but they know it's there, so...
Cantlin, a really nice find in the corner of a vast swamp when both players are kind of short of HP. I don't think I saw Vani check the coordinates yet. That'll probably happen later. That would be kind of difficult to do. I think he would have to buy some herbs just to make it in and then Death Warp afterwards.
Now, unfortunately, I missed a little bit of that level there, but I saw a 0 HP and a 4 MP with a couple spells. A little bit inconsequential at the moment now, though.
Experience still very close between these two, and it's just going to be another level or two before they can fight all the middling enemies like Magiwyverns and many below them, Droll Magis, Druin Lords, Spectres, all that sort of stuff. Thanks to Erdrick's sword.
Really opens up things a lot, doesn't it?
Really makes the seat a lot easier and more comfortable. You know, they had that big boost at level 2, but without the sword, they still would have just been fighting in Zone 1 and maybe Zone 2 after a few more levels.
So with Sylverfyre's new defense gains, they're actually able to defense break Metal Scorpions. That's really valuable right now.
Metal Scorpion's worth 31 experience. One more Metal Scorpion would get Sylverfyre another level at this point.
And of course, we have the Warlocks in the Zone 2, how now with all of their attack power, that's really going to help. So Vani heading back to Rimuldar, I am sure to buy a few keys now, possibly to check out the basement. Probably also another reason we didn't see Cantlin, actually. No one actually did ever get more than one key.
Indeed. And of course, Rimuldar's chest is going to be open now. Although it looks like Vani can only afford 2 keys at the moment. Maybe he'll use them to open the chest regardless, as once again, Rimuldar's close by.
It's a bit of a slow grind either way. But they'll get there eventually. Still taking an exploration out into the giant swamp, though, instead of going north like Vani did, is going further west. So we'll see if we can get to anything over there. And they make it to land. And now we've got some forest.
One more enemy for the level, but I don't think it's going to be a rogue scorpion. Not quite enough HP. Even if they were too weak and could use the hurt spell instead, I don't think it would be quite enough.
But unfortunately, we have found the fun police, and Syl is sent back home right away.
Still hitting like a tank because neither player has been able to find, as of yet, some serious armor. So we see a gigantic 48 from that red dragon.
Shucks, NESCardinality, we were having so much fun. It's a shame that the red dragons show up whenever that starts happening.
I know, it's almost like they're trying to control the fun in a policing-type manner.
Huh.
Let's see what's in the basement on Vani's side. It's the Shrine Cave, where eventually both players will exchange the Silver Harp for the Staff of Rain, one of the key items required to get the Rainbow Drop to enter Charlotte.
So I thought they already had the Silver Harp, the two of them. Oh yeah, they do. But maybe Vani had a reason to keep it? Might have also just been forgotten. Either way. I don't know, maybe he wants to get the Miracle Metal Slime.
Either way, it's close by at home, so he'll do it eventually.
Yeah, when he realizes that, it will be time. So we've got a nice little mountain nook in there.
And both players are looking for enemies in there. Interesting.
Yeah, almost synchronized.
We've seen a lot of synchronicity in this race, and we're only 15 minutes in. There's Charlock.
Sherlock is also quite close by, though they're a little taken over by some swamp. That's about normal for Sherlock, right?
There is a ton of swamp to get through in every direction, it seems.
Wolflord, though, they are going to hit pretty hard still, but with Erdrick's sword, it's no problem for Syl to take one down.
One of the best enemies to find for value right now. Over 50 experience, and 2 more Wolflords at this point would give Sylverfyre another level.
Yeah, they're both very close to the next level, actually. So we'll see who will reach it first. Fortunately, Vani's sent home by the Axe Knight. Will Syl get to the next level sooner?
Giving Syl a little bit of a chance to equalize now. Only 23 experience separating the two.
That's only like a Wolf Lord or a Middle Scorpion here. Unfortunately, Axe Knights are being quite buggery for them. Running is a little bit difficult in the beginning of the game.
When I'm watching two players, it's hard for me to tell if when someone discovers a town, if they've already been there or not, but Sylverfyre got across the swamp to a town and was unable to make it there. I'm not sure if it was a new one or not. It looks like it was not a new one. It looks like that was available to both players.
Now Vani finds a Wolf Lord, and I think that will be for the level if he's able to take it down, which I assume he will be able to.
Oh, the
Oh my
dodge!
gosh, but the dodge! My assumptions, how dare I?
That dodge was very unlikely, and it's an unfortunate swing. Instead of getting a level and keeping your position, you're sent back and you have to find something else to fight.
So Vani's very close to the next level, and Syl is just taking a moment to purchase a few more keys. It is hard to retain your money when you have, you know, things taking you out left and right. So what do you think, NESCardinality? No gold grind available, and Sylverfyre is using the agility-based name. Could that come into play later on in the game when neither player has a silver shield?
Interesting thought. A little bit more extra defense. Of course, both players will probably get a large shield. Very rare in a seed to have 0 large shields. I did have one of those this month, but it doesn't happen very often.
I think we have seen one already, though. I think there was one. And then again, we also haven't checked Canlin. Anyway, Vani gets another level 7, 1, 3, and 2. Nothing way too over the top there, but enough to help a bit.
And there's Cantlin right across the water. So yeah, neither player has been able to get too far in any direction, but they've seen a lot in terms of like all directions combined. So not too bad on exploration, and eventually they're going to get a level that's going to help them immensely with the swamp. Either a heal spell or a big HP gain, something like that.
So there are a few, there's a little bit of discussion in chat here about the names, about the big Z and the boosts given. Care to explain?
Yeah, so first of all, your name determines your stat growth. The most popular gains are Strength HP or Strength Agility, and those are the two that our competitors have chosen tonight. Strength HP will give you the most strength and the most HP, obviously. The combinations are capital Z, capital J, small d, and small t. Whereas for Strength Agility, it's small f, capital L, small v, and open bracket is the other one.
Yeah, so Strength HP has become a lot more popular ever since the Death Necklace functionality has come into play. Back in the day, though, back in my day, now I'm the old man jerk, it was a lot more of a 50-50 split, I want to say, across the community.
Yeah, a big part of that was the Death Necklace functionality. Now that the Death Necklace is in play, a lot of people favor Strength HP more, but we still have some diehard people clinging to Strength Agility. And again, in some seeds, the extra HP doesn't do anything, but the extra agility turns out to be really useful.
But hey, Syl's one of them. As far as I've known, they've always been rocking the Strength Agility name, and it works for them. So hey, I mean, more power.
Before the Death Necklace, it was really close. There were periods of time where I was alternating back and forth between either one. I could not choose. They were both really good.
I mean, a lot of it was seed dependent too. I mean, even still, technically, in this case, it could be. There's just a little more lenience towards the Death Necklace. So anyway, Syl, upon checking out the basement, goes into the, the Shrine Cave and gets the Staff of Rain.
I really do hope Vanivan realizes soon that they can do that. I hope it's not one of those cases. I remember having a seed where I mistook the Shrine Cave for the Jerk Cave, and I didn't come back for a long time. I hope that something like that doesn't happen here.
And there's sometimes even just the, if you get something right away early, you might just not remember that you have it on you. Because, he was probably very focused on getting the sword in that moment of time.
Vanimon getting a lot of good distance now as mass exploration begins. Unfortunately, has found an armored knight who is going to send him back immediately. Both players still really close together in experience. Only 30 between them. The gap has stayed very small.
Meanwhile, I think we have Sylverfyre's first trip to Cantlin over here, so it looks like they're going to check out what's for sale. They don't have very much money, unfortunately, not even enough to stay at the inn.
This is going to be a budget seed, it seems, for a while anyway.
Yeah, until we're able to probably get our own healing spell or something. Though if Syl has enough herbs to get through here, we might be finding out about coordinates. Well, it's only 3. I think that's not going to be it. Let's see.
Oh, wow.
They're committing.
This is going to be really close.
I don't like the odds of this.
No.
I don't think... No, unfortunately not. Sorry, Syl. Just one step away, but...
I saw them going back considering buying herbs, and that would have been enough, but they'll be able to get there soon.
Plot twist, the Remolder chest is actually full of gold! But of course, both runners would need more money for that.
Vanimon taking a shot at an Axe Knight. The damage is close. I don't think he's going to get this one, but maybe in the future. You see a 20 there. So if he rolled 3 20s, that would be enough for some Axe Knight.
Just need a bit of luck.
But the first 2 rolls were too low, unfortunately.
So now Sylverfyre going back to Cantlin and goes to buy some herbs. Can only afford 1 right now, unfortunately.
It's extraordinarily unusual to see Remolder so close to home and both players so starved for keys. Not that it's really holding them back at the moment, it's just really unusual. But Vanimon has found a Magiwyvern and now is strong enough to defeat it.
Yeah, just plugging away here. Vani is with the more grinding plot right now, just taking away in the experience a little bit. Syl did see a metal slime, but unfortunately for them, it ran away quite quickly. Metal slimes tend to be like that.
Bonnie chipping away at every little ounce. Killed a Magidrake, one more Magidrake level, and here's a Metal Scorpion, and that'll do it. We will see level 8.
So, with some courage and wit, we get 16 power, 0 agility, 9 hit points, 4 MP, and a new spell, which is Sleep. The sleep spell.
Good for Magiwyverns, but Vanimon does not... is going to either 2-shot or 3-shot every Magiwyvern. This one, unfortunately, just had a dodge, but the second successful attack was enough that time.
So that's really going to help a lot. I mean, you know, there's still not really any healing abilities for themselves other than the herbs they can buy, but they're getting stronger.
And we see a prevalent aspect of Dragon Warrior Randomizer toll here. Vanimon has had some successful bouts of exploration and has started to build up a little bit of an experience lead, while things like the Axe Knights have been a little crueler on Sylverfyre's side. Of course, this is not a guarantee that this will be the trend throughout the entire seed. We'll just have to wait and see what happens as Vanimon finally able to buy a multitude of keys.
So now with a little bit more money, yes, we're buying more keys, and he's going back to the basement. I suppose this time he will probably be making the exchange that we did not see earlier.
Always a relief to know that this won't be an issue in the seed.
So goes down to the Shrine Cave, talks to the old man, makes the exchange, and takes the treasure chest.
And Sylverfyre has started grinding in that desert below, which town is that again?
That would be just below Breckenry.
That's right. And Magiwyverns, again, very easy feat now. Sylverfyre 2-shotting that one and reaches level 8 as well. So again, both runners still extremely close together.
So the 16 power gain as well, they're all going to be very strong at the moment. So with the enemies they have, they should be able to, you know, make some good progress here. I still don't believe we've seen the chest in Rimmeldar, but other than that...
Sylverfyre sticking entirely to grinding in this zone, And I can't blame Sylverfyre for this choice at all right now. It's been hard to get anywhere. They don't have heal spells. Every bout of exploration requires consumption of those herbs and repurchasing them later. And experience hasn't been it hasn't been all that fruitful exploring lately. So I kind of like this idea. Sylverfyre very close in Magiwyverns to the next level. You know, it's only going to be, let's see, somewhere around 4 or 5 more for the next level.
Yeah, I mean, what else do you do at this point? Every single time that either of them has tried to branch out even further, they met either the Red Dragon or the Knight, so at that point it's like, well, I'm strong enough to kill some of these, let's keep going.
Vaughn a little bit ahead in experience, less than 100 away from level 9. Going to Brecconary first. We'll probably finish that level very soon. And we'll see if he stops to grind in this desert or if he just is in total exploration go mode still.
Sylverfyre passes by the inn, you know, possibly even peeks in the door and is like, hey, Vaughn. And goes outside again to train. These runners are high-fiving each other on the world right now. I think they're actually on the same tile. Oh, not quite the same. But the virtual high-fives are happening.
The idea of being able to see your competitor in the same seat in real time was something that I believe Sparkover mentioned in passing recently, and it is a really neat concept.
I think we couldn't actually do that in races. But it's a cute idea to somehow think if you could connect your emulator and have everybody walking on the same map.
So Vaughn, strong enough to beat an Axe Knight, gets 11 power, 16 speed, 16 HP, 9 MP, and once again pausing to take that huge gain in before checking the spell learned.
And we've learned... Return?
Yes.
Yes. Meanwhile, we've got Sylverfyre, who went back to Cantlin, stocked full of herbs, and we are going to see if there are any coordinates.
Now, if Sylverfyre gets the armor, that could be more than adequate compensation for the slight experience deficit. 24 south, 87 west, those are the coordinates. We don't know if it's the armor, Erdrick's token, or the fairy flute. Sylverfyre wisely taking a quick death warp to heal back up at home.
So that sounds like going through Axe Knight or Armored Knight territory. Though I do think from what I've seen so far, the only way to get here is west, so it does make sense. And going west looks to be where Sylverfyre is headed. Let's see what they can find. Taking down a few small enemies here.
That is a vast swamp.
So vast. And Vani is actually headed in around the same direction, though he chooses to go a little north because he sees the trees. Unfortunately for Sylverfyre, they find a dead end at the other side of the swamp.
Looks like they might just hope for good enemies to fight while they're there, but finding a Magidrake, that might actually be the same zone as below Brecconary, but with forest tiles, the enemies are going to appear half as often. Meanwhile, Vani, running from a werewolf as he sees a brand new town, and he just wants to get there.
So what are we hoping for now? Ooh, and a cave! Well, a lot of potential out here. Unfortunately, we've got
close.
A very tricky gold man, but he manages to get away with 1 HP left, and we find Cole.
So perhaps Cole will have the armor.
It's going to be the first thing that Vani decides to check. And it is the armor.
So that's pretty huge, and that's one of the reasons I usually check that spot before the shop. It's situationally, it depends sometimes, but if I don't have the armor, typically I'll check that spot before I check the shop.
And at this point, I don't think there's too much armor he could really be hoping to find. We do know that, he could buy a small shield, but it might not be so compelling when he thinks he might get a large shield eventually.
Vaughn doing a lot of thinking between these key moments. I assume he's going to check out the cave next.
So I'm just thinking here. I think it's very possible that Sylverfyre is going to come across that town when they head out that way to find the coordinates. So Vani finds the grave here. 3 chests on top, and then 2 a longer way down after you have to get into the cave. But you have to use a key. We do have keys, though. But here we found a gold chest. Finally. An empty chest. I'm sure it's an herb. And more gold! It's not as exciting as the treasury, but, you know, you could buy a nice hat. Nah, they didn't introduce those till about Dragon Warrior 3 or 4.
I think the mysterious hat is in Dragon Warrior 2. It's just not easy to get.
Hats as soon as Dragon Warrior 2? My gosh.
I think Vani's gonna get this Axe Knight. It was close, but worth the struggle. Meanwhile, Sylverfyre finding a Wraith Knight also very valuable right now, and despite the fact that they have hurt more, Sylverfyre will prevail.
Question in chat, what was in the Rimmaldar chest? I don't believe I've seen either runner actually go for it.
I don't think so either.
We didn't, like, the town was right beside the beginning, but because we had no money, keys were very slowly gotten over time, and I think maybe it was just never a priority to the runners, you know. Perhaps, hopefully they will remember soon.
Yeah, I'm hoping the Stones of Sunlight are in there.
Anyway, Sylverfyre now taking more of a journey over to the west. And Vani headed for the beautiful cursed chest. Cursed chest? Cursed belt chest. Maybe, is the chest cursed if there's a cursed belt in it?
That's a tough philosophical question.
The coordinates were found there, 24 south, 87 west. And in another chest is the grave. Meanwhile, Sylverfyre defeats a metal slime, going up past 1,000 experience, and they get to level 9.
A really nice boost to see, with the experience gap between them once again narrowing massively. Vanivan discovering a lot of really good to fight enemies in the grave, so it's a fruitful journey regardless of whether or not there is useful treasure in there.
And they also both have the outside spell, so even if he does get to the bottom and chooses not to, you know, die and go back home just because a death warp isn't quite a thing, well, I mean, a gold grind isn't a thing in this one, that is also an option for leaving. So Vani snaking his way through the bottom of the grave, Sylverfyre searching around outside. And I see another cave in a cute spot. Look at that cute cave location. And look at that cute metal slime. Very good idea.
The cute ones always run away.
Yeah, so what are we going to say? Mountain?
Mountain.
Mountain. So 5 chests in this one as well, though it is a little bit of a faster walk than the grave. However, Vani has made it to the bottom floor of the grave. And in the final chest we receive the Stones of Sunlight.
That's even better than being in Rimmaldar.
So it's always interesting when a bottom or a key item is on the bottom floor of the grave, just because a lot of runners will sometimes choose to skip it. However, I do like the decision in this period right now.
Vanivan getting very close to level 10, as Sylverfyre, meanwhile, is in a great place to actually get some additional enemies. Lots of good enemies appearing in the mountain cave, and I think we're going to see virtually no difference in experience between the two.
So in the first chest in the mountain cave, we find the herb. Meanwhile, Vani reaches level 10, 2 power, 15 speed, 9 hit points, 5 MP.
The runners have already found just about everything. I think Erdrick's token is the only valuable thing that could be in the mountain cave, and of course that's less likely of an occurrence. That's still possible.
Yeah, we do know there are coordinates, so we know at least there is, you know, something to search for. We find the wings in the next chest.
But regardless, it's really neat to see that Sylverfyre is getting really good enemies in here, and all these middle levels are going to help both runners dig out of that uncomfortable zone where it's difficult to explore, especially without a heal spell.
So we get fairy water and another set of wings. I guess this is the wing cave and the grave is the money cave. Onward to the last chest. And we find the cursed belt. How beautiful.
That sounds about right.
So we knew for sure that there would be one cursed belt because we did have coordinates. Whether or not there is a second cursed belt in play, well, we'll have to find out.
We see some orange values in Vanivan's stats, both of which really make sense. 94 HP. It's possible to win at that point, but you would have to have some extra MP as you're in the danger zone. Sometimes if the Dragon Lord does maximum fire breath, for example, you won't be able to safely attack in between every heal more. And 67 agility, it's enough to get you in there, but it's going to be a rocky Charlock most of the time if your agility's around that level.
You know, unless you just are someone like Sparko who never sees the red dragons.
Exactly.
So on Vani's side, like you can see, he's already doing 32 damage to a green dragon. Their strength is really showing, and of course Erdrick's sword is highlighting that.
The power of the early sword.
Yeah, these two runners both definitely got, you know, starting with the sword, that's always a fun time. And especially, it also takes a bit of a weight off your shoulders. Just, you know, knowing that that's one thing you don't need to be searching everywhere for. So we've got another town on Vani's screen, and it is Garnham.
Garnham, a great find always. A really close herb purchasing station, as well as 3 chests and a full cave. And it might be the jerk cave, it might be required.
And we've already got a little jerk here blocking the door. So we've got 3 chests in here. Again, not sure if much notable is going to be found unless the token happens to be in one. So we get an herb, we get fairy water, and we get more gold.
Yeah, just because both runners don't have the token, that's more than enough reason to absolutely check every chest that is directly in their path.
So I think at this point, now we're down to exactly 3 chests.
Stones, Tablet, and Remolder.
Yes, and here's Tablet.
Vanivan taking an unorthodox route through, but it works, and of course there are no enemies in danger.
And he's got Radiant. Meanwhile, Sylverfyre is stopping back in Cantlin for some more herbs. Cantlin is doing very well for business this year. Yes, this year.
You would think the very high inn price would keep tourists away, but nope.
Well, it's a really nice inn. Have you seen the size of it?
Pretty nice.
Actually, to be fair, though, I think the Breckenry one is larger and a lot cheaper. Maybe it's a hostel. Maybe you have to, like, share a bunk bed with, like, 10 other villagers. Maybe that's why it's so cheap.
From Baron or something.
When are we going to get the fan fiction of this?
You're gonna have to write it yourself, I guess.
Aw, shucks. Anyway, Vani also stocking up, and will be continuing on his mission. Sylverfyre finds a rogue scorpion and now has decided it's time to fight it, and I really agree with this. I mean, look how strong they are now.
2 attacks to kill a rogue scorpion, 70 experience, very much worth their time right now.
I'm curious why Vani hasn't checked an equipment shop yet, though. He still has no shield, and unless he's really, really hoping on getting a silver shield someday by finding all the gold chests, I feel like checking for a large shield would be the thing to do.
Absolutely. I don't see a silver shield being in the cards for either player in this particular seed. Large shield, definitely a valuable pickup for defense.
So what have we yet to find then? There is a swamp cave, there is Hawk's Nest, and the jerk himself.
Now, I think that's it in terms of locations, and just the token and Erdrick's armor for Sylverfyre still out there.
Yeah, and again, I really do believe that they're going to come across Cole just trying to find the coordinates, or just exploration. It was like right there. Anyway, we see another cave down there on Vani's screen.
Nestled in a nice corner of the map that kind of looks like a smiley face.
It's got the smile.
Got a smile and a little nose there. A little desert nose.
And it's the jerk. Anyway, Sylverfyre now has reached level 10 as well. 217, 8, and 5. You know, slightly different from Vani's level, but those are the different stats. Look at that. Agility in the green. These are our stats at work here. I mean, our builds, our different builds at work.
I'm a little surprised to see it in green at 72, but I don't hate that either. I mean, agility is one of those stats that is less consequential as strength, HP, or MP in consideration for the Dragon Lord. So you pretty much have to consider your options, even when your agility is that low.
There actually was, there has been some discussion about the numbers recently in the Dragon Warrior Randomizer Discord. So what does green agility mean? It essentially means you can probably start to consider going to the Dragon Lord at this level. As said, you know, all the stats are kind of, they play with each other.
They're codependent.
Yes. Like, sometimes you can go with, like, a very high, high attack power and lower MP, or very high MP with lower attack. It's all sort of like a ratio between each other.
HP and agility are probably the most independent, but still, strength and MP play a lot with each other. If you have a certain level of strength, you need a certain amount of heal mores to win with that amount of strength. Or if you have a certain amount of heal mores, you need a certain amount of strength to win with that much magic. And then HP, if you have a little bit more than 100, you can start to maybe you might get some double attack, something like that.
Anyway, meanwhile, Sylverfyre did find Cole, got the armor, and is now in the grave as well. And as said in chat, thank you very much, Tilo. 72 puts full gear at 86 defense, which is the big defense point for Dragon Lord 2. That makes perfect sense.
That's a perfect reason to make that value green. I like that.
Yeah. So over on Vani's side, he is in Canlin and has bought the large shield. After he had already bought a small shield that I had missed, but that is okay because we have upgraded. I assume he's going to want to get some coordinates at this point, and looks like that is where he's headed. Meanwhile, Sylverfyre is making their way down to the bottom of the grave, and, you know, hopefully for their sake they will make it, because we know the stones are at the bottom. So Vani receives the coordinates 24 south, 87 west. It's a bit of a hike, but we'll see what happens.
Even without a heal spell, can't blame Sylverfyre for fighting an accident on the way down to those very stones of sunlight, as now, wearing Erdrick's armor, they will be able to heal 1 hit point per step, and that happens really fast when your encounter rate is only 1 per 16 steps on average.
And also, I believe, I'm sorry, I had missed Vani getting a level. We got a giant HP boost from that.
Yeah, Vani, it looks ever more likely that Vani will be able to consider the option of the Death Necklace in this particular seed.
Yeah, so good for him that he held on to it. And now, also with, we have a Metal Slime on Vani's screen, and it's stuck around for 2 attacks. Get a third, it misses, and the slime runs away. Metal Slimes are tricky that way. So Sylverfyre keeps going down. The grave will not be so happy with this chest, but again, if they can make it to the bottom, they will know that it's worth it. And yes, as mentioned before, Sylverfyre did have the Death Necklace, but sold it for some equipment earlier in the game. And I mean, it's hard to say in advance whether or not, you know, you'll need the Death Necklace. Of course, you cannot predict that. But I feel like it was a good decision in the time as well, because the armor and the that they bought, it did help them a lot. Sylverfyre now just a couple floors away from the bottom of grave. Vani continue on with the exploration.
So much easier with Erdrick's armor. We've seen so many large, vast swamps in this seed already. Metal slimes everywhere as well, as Vani will try to kill yet another, as Sylverfyre defeats a very valuable werewolf, now 1 enemy away from that level 11.
So there's a question in chat, what does the Death Necklace do? It raises your attack power by 10 at the cost of 25% of your max HP. This is a randomizer only feature. As well, not quite as good, it also curses you, so you are unable to go into the main castle. You have to get the curse lifted at Breckenray if you wish to enter the castle ever again.
So this applies to very specific strategies. First of all, you, in general, as a general rule, want to use the Death Necklace if you have 130 HP or more, but only against the Dragon Lord. You typically want to carry the rest of your HP through the Dragon Lord's castle for safety, and then once you make it to the bottom, right before talking to the Dragon Lord, typically, if you have that much HP, you'll use the Death Necklace just to make the battle faster, or if you're not very strong, you might actually need it to win a battle.
So there's also the option of if you actually want to use the necklace early on for grinding, which does happen occasionally.
It doesn't happen very often. I've found that it requires a very specific set of circumstances. I saw this one great seed where everyone was swamp locked, and too weak to kill anything, so there were no towns. Using the Death Necklace was the only option to level, and it created a really interesting dynamic. I love seeing stuff like that.
So, meanwhile, as we've been talking about the Death Necklace, Sylverfyre has found the stones at the bottom of the grave and is exited, and Vani has found the mountain cave. I think nothing that we really needed was in here, but again, he is, just walking around, and oh my gosh, Vani got an excellent move on a stone man who then cast Heal More and his Dragonlord Breath. That is not someone you want to be dealing with.
Brutal combination, an unfortunate happening, but fortunately, Vani does manage to run away and maintain position as Sylverfyre kills yet another metal slime, continuing to fight back and narrow that experience gap. Both runners still very close together. Vani doesn't really need to explore this cave right now. I think the only thing he's missing is Erdrick's token, and he has every reason to assume that it's not going to be in a treasure chest, but at the same time, the mountain cave is short and filled with lots of great enemies, and both players do need to keep grinding, so this is not a bad thing to do either.
So meanwhile, Sylverfyre has found the swamp cave, and we find the golem is the guardian. The question in chat, is Sylverfyre using a Dragon Warrior sprite? Yes, the sprite is either Mara or Nara, and my other Nick says is Nara, the younger fortune teller sister. Thank you, my other Nick. Meanwhile, Vani is using from Star Tropics the character named
Mike Jones.
Thank you.
Funny story, the first time I ever played Star Tropics, I put in my name as Mike, and then everyone calls you Mike. I just assumed it was using the name that I put in. Second time I played, I used a different name, and it kept calling me Mike, and I'm like, what? What's happening?
It knows your first game attempt name ever.
You can't imagine how that felt from my perception as a kid. It was hilarious.
As a child, would imagine that. Quite something different. So off on some further adventures here. I wonder where Hawksness is in all of this.
A beautiful pair of enemies for both players as Vanivan reaches level 11.
So we got 3, 6, 12, 7, a new spell, and a correction that actually is level 12. But that's okay.
Oh yes, level 12.
And we've got Heal More.
Changes everything. A lot of fighting and grinding is going to be a lot easier now.
However, the MP is also going to go down quite quickly. Gosh.
And I don't think Vani's stream could handle how good that level was. Here we go.
He entered a snowstorm, but it's okay now. Didn't know they had snow up here.
Really nice to see both players fighting the weaker of the Sharlock enemies, all giving more than 100 experience, other than the werewolves, which give 95. So big boosts coming on both sides, and again, this race is way too close to call. Both players have collected pretty much the exact same equipment now, just it looks like Sylverfyre has yet to buy a large shield according to the tracker. But with 81 agility, that's not even a concern, honestly.
So Sylverfyre goes back into cold just to have a quick nap and refresh a little. Meanwhile, Vani heads back into the mountain cave, I'm sure to find the last few chests, and well, we know what's in them already, but, he's got gusto.
And again, you can see Vani very likely to Death Knight, the Dragon Lord. It looks like we're not going to need too many more levels until that point. So exploration for the token is very important right now, and it could be on those coordinates. Will they have to rescue the princess? It's always hard for me to tell as an observer of a race because I'm watching details between the two of them. I'm not really sure exactly what the map structure is like, but we'll just have to wait and see.
So those two caves on Sylverfyre's side, wouldn't that be cute if that were the swamp cave connecting two separate continents?
That would be the best thing ever.
Oh, but there's a bridge!
Gosh!
That
doesn't make it any worse. I still like it.
I still like the underground pathway.
Yeah, we just played a seed, I believe it was yesterday, where the swamp cave was 2 screens away from Tantagel and led into Tantagel. That was cute.
Background, secret passage.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how they get out when Hargon comes. I referenced a different game. It was funny. That's the spirit. So still continuing on the journey, we're in search of Hawksness. Sylverfyre gets to level 12, 3 power, 6 speed, 10 hit points, 7 MP, new spell. We know it's heal more, but come on, let's be happy for Syl.
10 extra HP for Vani, and 6 extra agility for Sylverfyre, and they are in that sweet spot where every point of agility matters against armored knights and red dragons. That could be really helpful for Syl. Meanwhile, Vani getting ever so close to being able to use that death necklace. It'll be really interesting to see how the difference plays out in Charlock.
So there's a question in chat, what does the cursed belt do? Well, it does exactly everything the death necklace does, except it actually only curses you and gives you 9 points. So when you put on the cursed belt, you are not allowed to go into Tantagel Castle until the curse is lifted.
Cursed belts, I love that they still exist, as they play a relatively unlikely but very useful function in Dragon Warrior Randomizers. There will be some seeds where you start off weak with no money, but there's a cursed belt and you can sell that for enough money to buy as high as a copper sword, and that can change the entire seed for you.
Yeah, for all the bad rep that the cursed belt gets, it can be useful in its own times. I mean, just in the race that I played the other day, my opponent was able to do a small cursed belt grind and make some money and buy some weapons right away. If I had found the town, I want to believe I would have done that too, but hey, shoutouts to getting the cursed belt working. Anyway, now with Heal More, I feel like we are going to see a princess rescue. So Sylverfyre takes down the golem and goes to rescue Princess Gwaelin.
At least 2 metal slimes and a golem. Those are some big experience chunks Sylverfyre has gained. Keeping that experience gap very narrow once again. Ivan took a bit of a lead, and ever since then it's been pretty steady from both players. Not a very significant difference at all. They're extremely close by. And now with Sylverfyre having the coordinates and the princess, if the token is on the map, this could be the dynamic difference that equalizes the experience gap.
Oh, shoutouts to that really cute swamp cave. I'm never going to see a cute cave such as that. Anyway, Gwaelin goes home, and we are going to be seeing where what the token ends up being, or the search spot. Hi, I know what some words are. Meanwhile, Vani's still off on exploration mode. I don't believe that's a new town. I think that's Garenham. But if he makes a beeline for it, well, we'll find out. The GPS is enabled. The Gwaelin positioning system will tell you your relation distance to the castle. Anyway, Vani has gotten to level 13, 16 power, 3 hit points, 0 HP, 8 MP, and a new spell.
Wow, at this rate, well, MP is still very low, so perhaps the Death Necklace could still play a role, but HP still at 122, so not able to use it just yet. We'll have to see what grows first.
So, I was going to mention about how we have hurt more, but I think there's something a little more exciting now that our attack power is large enough to one-hit kill metal slimes.
And we've seen them just about everywhere. This is going to be extremely valuable. I wonder if Vani will take immediate use of this. Still a little bit of exploration to do, but man, there are metal slimes everywhere in this path right now.
Yeah, Vani still does need to find the token, and maybe get a little bit of MP. But here he does have the swamp cave in his sights, and so we do know he has heal more. He should be able to defeat the golem as well.
It looks like he's going past. I wonder what he's looking for on the other side.
I hope he appreciates this as much as I do.
Maybe looking for Hawksness, maybe seeing if... oh no, he's going back for the princess now.
Ah, yes. Anyway, as we're doing some shopping and a little princess kill, how about you just give us a little summary of what we actually need to do to beat this game?
Beat the Dragon Lord.
Oh, well that's nice. Why are they doing all this walking around then? How do they get to his castle?
So they found the castle, but there is a moat around it. They cannot enter the moat until they have the rainbow drop. In order to obtain the rainbow drop, they need the Stones of Sunlight, Staff of Rain, and Erdrick's Token. Erdrick's Token can be in a treasure chest, but is often in one of 3 locations where Erdrick's armor can also be. The Stones of Sunlight can be in any treasure chest, and the Staff of Rain, you must first procure the silver harp and then exchange it at a shrine for the staff. In addition, both players, essentially in order to be competitive, they need Erdrick to survive the Dragon Lord's wrath. And Erdrick's Sword almost always plays a role. There are some seeds where strength skyrockets before other attributes will allow you to beat the game. So sometimes you'll see players winning with a weaker sword, but for the most part, Erdrick's Sword will be necessary in order to be competitive in these races.
So, while NESCardinality was doing that beautiful explanation, Sylverfyre went into the chest of Remuldar, and we did learn it was gold.
Ah, there you go.
And Vani has saved the princess, and he's taken her for a little walk, and he finds a metal slime, and it's around.
This one's gonna stick around, and it'll be another sweet boost. Oh no,
Ooh.
only 2, so it'll take 2 attacks, and there it goes.
That's right, we're guaranteed hit, not guaranteed one shot. Possibly by the next level.
Yeah, at 136, 137, his range should be 2 to 4, and we saw him do 2 and then 4. 1 more strength, and I believe his range would be 2 to 5.
Yeah, so metal slimes are little interesting creatures. They only have 3 HP. However, you can only hit them very, very little. But when your attack power gets so great, you actually are able to do more damage.
Just an excellent place to grind. And Vanivan has not returned the princess yet. It looks like he's going back through the swamp cave carrying the princess.
Taking her on a journey. Maybe he does want to see what's at the other side of the swamp cave. If he doesn't realize that that was actually the very last cave for him to find, he might think that there's another continent out there waiting for him. There is not. That is so cute. I cannot get over how cute that cave is.
It actually happened.
So anyway, Vani has found level 14. We get 2 power, 2 speed, 15 hit points, 2 MP, and a new spell. I don't know if any of the spells are... Stop spell. That would be the last one.
Sylverfyre looking around for what could be the token just 20 steps below their present location. So they're going to see if they can get around this big water mass and see if the token or whatever is there is land accessible. Either the token or the flute.
Yeah, I guess we will find that out soon. We also have not found Hawksness yet.
So Vanivan's HP is high enough to use the Death Necklace, but MP is still really low. It looks like this will be the kind of seed by the time you win, you'll be so strong it doesn't matter if you have the Death Necklace or not. So Sylverfyre is going to be just fine, and we'll also be able to make use of that extra agility.
So we find the token on the map. Vani, unknowingly, is very, very close to it. He's like right there.
Yeah.
However, he might be in search of Hawksness before, unless he decides to change his mind in the middle of the adventure. But for him, he will most likely want to be taking the princess home, since he did take the time to save her.
So Sylverfyre has everything and is officially in grind and go mode. And we're just going to have to wait and see how much grinding they can do before Vanivan gets the token, and if it'll be enough to completely narrow the gap. And we'll see how Charlotte goes for both of them as well.
And while we already know that Vani has experienced those sweet metal slime kills, I wonder if Sylverfyre will come up with that same idea when they are able to get to that next level.
I keep coming back to this, the fact that Sylverfyre sold the Death Necklace. They're gonna be fine without it. They might not know this yet, but there's tons of strength pouring in, just waiting for some MP. There's a 16 power at level 13.
And with that, they also have 137 attack power. It's you know, if they find a metal slime, that might really, you know, clue them into maybe where they should grind. Being able to grind on metal slimes when they're so, you know, prevalent throughout the whole map is very, very fun. And they're looking at their stats thinking, So these players are taking down all of these enemies. I don't know if Sylverfyre has come across the Jerk Cave, actually, now that I think of it.
Only 12 attacks required to beat the Dragon Lord at this point, but Sylverfyre only with 6 heal mores, Vanivan only with 7. If Vanivan uses the Death Necklace, then it would only be 9 attacks to win, and technically that would make it possible. So I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see what Vanivan decides. By the time he gets the token, he could have another level on top of it. None of this closeness will even matter. We are 1 hour into the seed, and both players are starting to approach that area where they got to start thinking about when to go for the Dragon Lord.
Yeah, I'm feeling like looking at this, probably by the time they actually have assembled all the things they need to do, it might just be go time. All depends on what the next level is going to bring for the MP. So Vani found another little metal slime there with its little happy face. I'm guessing he just really wants to find Hawksness before he commits to taking the princess. And could that be it? I'm assuming it is. He's going straight there.
Taking the princess on such a dangerous journey.
Gosh.
So he'll be disappointed when the token isn't there, but little does he know, with a 2,000 experience lead, he's still in a very strong position in this race.
So a lot of lower level enemies here in Hawksness, nothing to scare Vanny? Bonnie, I said Vanny, help.
Still worth just enough experience to take them out on the way to whatever enemy is in. He finds an armored knight. 2 hurt more is required to take it out. No problem there.
He could have also just as easily have attacked and used the heal more, but this is very, I wanted to say good, but then one missed, but you know, it's still worthy enough.
Only one time out of 16 will hurt more miss an armored knight, and it happened there.
Yet it feels like that happens so much more often than you hitting the Dragon Lord with her, which is also 1 in 16.
So Vanivan does get the Fairy Flute as expected. It could have been in Charlock alternatively, but it is there, which was the more likely possibility.
But you know what this means?
What does it mean?
There's another cursed belt out there for me.
Probably in Charlock.
Yeah, the Dragon Lord has good style. So with that, Vani casts Return, and I assume now it is time for him to find the token as well. And if he can remember where the Jerk Cave is, he can take the lead again in, well, the Gathering. I suppose once he gets the token, they're tied in the Gathering, but still. Sylverfyre is, you know, doing their search as well. And I assume is on the right track. I seem to remember it being in, like, the southwest corner of the map.
Little smiley face corner.
Ah, yes, the happy corner. Ah, and as a parting gift, Gwaelin takes the dragon scale. Such romance. That's the dragon scale that he took from this exact treasury in the beginning of the seed, and now it's come full circle.
Now that's unusual. And yeah, that is pretty cute. I appreciate that. But yeah, pretty unusual. You have to have no torches for Gwaelin to take your dragon scale. You also have to, obviously, not have discarded the dragon scale yourself already.
So Vani's gonna hit a bit of a dead end here. He's gonna have to go up north, actually, before he can go south. How does that even work?
Windy maps.
Ah, yes.
So interesting to see both players having nearly everything and still stumbling around the map, you know, not in total grind mode, still a couple things to find. It keeps the race relatively intense.
Yeah, the difference is Vani has the Jerk's location and Sylverfyre has the token.
I know when I'm in a situation like this where the numbers are really borderline, I start to really worry about that last thing or two that I have to find. There's no worse feeling than being ready to beat the dragon and still having to find something on the map.
Yeah, sometimes it's almost troublesome when the stats come up this quickly in the race, because you're like, excuse me, can you slow down a little bit? I still have chores to do.
Looks like Sylverfyre is going to heal at Cantlin before continuing their quest for the Jerk Cave.
Just a couple more enemies for Sylverfyre to hit level 14. Meanwhile, Vani is probably just a couple away from level 15 himself. So he's very close now to the token. I think he just needs to go south from here and then a little bit west.
Yeah, just 10 steps east. He might be reversing the directions in his head. That happens because the king tells you which way to go towards the castle as opposed to which way you want to go towards your destination.
Anyway, with that metal slime, we get 1, 6, 7, and 8.
I think Vani is strong enough to win right now. And yeah, again, I think he's going in the wrong direction, but if the coordinates even out to 0 here, I think he'll alive and just head the other direction.
He's gonna have to go further. I seem to remember being
I'm sorry.
south of the swamp cave.
I was wrong. Yeah, it's just to the right and down here.
Yeah.
See how easy it is? Like, you can do dozens of these races and still the coordinates can mess with your head. We saw it a lot last year. A few players going east instead of west and vice versa. It's just one of those things that can happen.
Yeah, I remember this was the part where Vani was walking around with Gwen's arm. Meanwhile, Syl was in the exact same area getting the token. So anyway, Syl has hit level 14 now. The attack power is, well, not too much of a gain from that one, but the HP was a big boost from that. And Vani, heading around here, we're going to find a token in a swamp. That's almost like vanilla. I feel cozy and at home. So meanwhile, Syl's still just on the search for the Jerk Cave, so they're able to get into Sherlock Castle. So he's at 23 and 84, just a couple steps away, though.
One down, there we go.
And there's your token, Vani. Well, that's an interesting little peninsula Sylverfyre was walking on. I guess it's technically not a peninsula. It technically is connected, but... like, look at that. Look at that river. It's so bold.
So over to the Rainbow Drop Cave for Vani, and then it's go mode. Without the Death Necklace, it would take 11 attacks, and he has 8 heal mores. The extra HP would permit more than enough double attacks to make that. So he can win with or without.
And at the same time, with all these metal slimes just saying hi, you know, the experience is going to come in very quickly. You have no reason to want to, you know, run from those when you can kill them in one hit. Anyway, we found the Jerk Cave, and with that, Vani trades in his items and collects the Rainbow Drop. And now what? We're gonna go home? I think we're gonna go home.
Sylverfyre, to win at level 14, would, I believe, 2 double attacks. And because they have no, not bad, but that would be dangerous for sure. My guess is that Sylverfyre will go to level 15 and then beat the Dragon Lord, and I think Vani is in total go mode here. Look at this, both players come back to replenish their MP in Tantagel at nearly the same time.
So Sylverfyre is just short of 2,000 experience away from the next level. I mean, I feel like I'd want to take on medals at this point, if you can remember where you saw them.
Vani taking a brief moment to save. Just a precaution, I assume. Nothing specific in mind there.
But looks like Sylverfyre is also heading over to Sherlock, uses the rainbow drop, holds it up towards the sky, and builds a bridge.
Absolutely amazing. If Sylverfyre is intending to go at this level... No, there's some grinding in Sherlock, okay. If they were going to try and win at this level, it would have been pretty risky, but it would have been interesting because both players are so close together right now.
So question in chat, what level do they need to beat the Dragon Lord? It's, as just said in chat as well, it's less of a level and more stats needed. So pretty much you need to have enough MP to cover your heal mores for the average amount of attacks you're going to be doing. So in this case, the MP isn't very high, but the HP is very high and the attack power is as well. So on average, you should be okay. However, Vani here is actually choosing to fight and is using MP.
So as mentioned in chat, Sylverfyre's MP is a little low for considering the Dragon Lord. As I mentioned, Sylverfyre would require 2 double attacks, and while they have lots of extra HP for just such a thing, the problem is they are strong and have few heal mores, which means that the battle is shorter, and the odds of getting a double attack, you know, in that smaller time frame are going to be less likely. So relying on 2 double attacks is a little bit scarier when you're only going to be attacking like 10 or 11 times to win.
So I'm wondering if Vani thinks his MP isn't low enough and if he would like another heal more.
This is unfortunate. The math looks pretty clear. I think Vani is totally in the clear. At the same time, though, Vani is less than 1,000 experience away from the next level, so this is not going to hurt him. The next level is probably going to make it crystal clear that he can go.
And then we had the truest MTI level in all the world. I'm not hoping that, but am I hoping that?
Well, it would equalize the race if Vani felt like he had to go to 17 and Sylverfyre were to go at 15. They could go at nearly the exact same time. Or, you know, even now, if Vani goes at 16 and Silver goes at 15, they're both like about 1,000 experience away from it. This is gonna be really close, guys. They're on nearly the exact same square fighting enemies in Sherlock.
Alright, folks, we've got an exciting race here. I mean, we have the whole time, but you know.
It's been great.
I mean, let's recap. We started with Erdrick's sword, Romilda right outside the door, though we have to take some time to get some keys, because money was an issue. Both players found things pretty quickly until the end of the game where they were kind of dancing around each other in between which items they had and didn't have. But in the end here, there's about 2,000 something experience in between them, but they're in the same spot.
Vanivan with an extra level still thinking about going for another, and it won't take long for either of them to reach this next level. It's going to be super close, and it could come all down to Sherlock RNG, who makes it to the Dragon Lord first.
Yeah, and I mean, I know Vani is also a new player to Dragon Lord Randomizer. Maybe, you know, it could just be he's not quite as familiar or comfortable with fighting at lower numbers, and he just kind of feels like that he would rather, you know, get a level for safety rather than risk going down and losing.
Yeah, so just in case anyone's wondering, without the Death Necklace, it would take 11 attacks for Vani, who has 8 heal mores, and because of the extra HP, he can expect quite a few double attacks. There's no concern there. So that would be pretty safe. And then with the Death Necklace, it would be about, let's see, probably 9 attacks to win, and he would still have extra HP on top of that, so it would be totally safe. But hopefully this next level, whatever it gives him, he'll recognize that he has more than enough to win, regardless of MP total.
That's another thing about the Death Necklace, too. It does less. It has less of an impact when your attack power is high. It's usually best when you're around the 120-ish range, because that's when it really seems to make the difference. Anyway, we've got a level on Vani's side here. What do we get? 1 power, 0 agility, 4 hit points, and 29 MP. If he doesn't feel cozy now, yeah, this is it.
Look at this. Both players going to Brecconary. Sylverfyre getting that level. It's going to be down to the wire, folks. You can't ask for a closer race than this. So Sylverfyre, we're going to check the math again on this one. Sylverfyre, it's going to take 11 attacks to win, 8 heal mores, but again, with 132 HP, Sylverfyre has to expect a double attack, and possibly 2 on average, maybe closer to 3. There's just no question that this is the right play to go at this level.
So I want to say it's going to be neck and neck, but Vani's caught up by a Metal Scorpion on the outside here. Don't fall behind, Vani.
Hold your... Well, I don't want to say hold your breath. Don't hold your breath. Either way, whatever happens, it's going to be super close. Here's Sylverfyre with an Armored Knight getting away first try. Of course, 99 agility is enough to not worry about Armored Knights. We'll see if there are any red dragons in here.
I don't know. I think that's a little bit a little bit dangerous to say don't hold your breath heading into Sherlock. What if some of these enemies have Dragonlord breath? Are you ready to unleash the fury that is Sherlock?
So Sylverfyre got in first. Vani Von now taking a 2-step lead but encountering an Armored Knight. Sylverfyre taking the lead but then encountering an Armored Knight. I'm telling you guys, nobody on Earth knows who's going to win this race. It is going to be down to the wire.
Vani stopped by a wizard right before Sylverfyre is 1 step ahead and gets to the secret passage.
I don't know if we've ever seen a tie situation or even a situation where the finishing times had to be closely scrutinized, but there is nothing off the table in this race, folks.
So Vani, with all the MP in the world, casts Radiant. Sylverfyre uses a torch. Now Vani has a little bit less agility, actually, with the, strength agility name coming into play on Sylverfyre. Is that going to help in Sherlock? It might.
Well, now that both players are clearly in go mode, obviously, extra agility is just a bonus, and that's really nice for Sylverfyre to have. Sylverfyre trying to run from... There is a red dragon. I don't expect too much trouble, and they do get away by number 2, which is more than good enough for some heal walking.
So the next set of enemies does seem to be a little bit more dangerous than the first. However, with their agility, I want to believe that it shouldn't be too bad for them. And on Vani's side as well, if he is staying quite on top with his calculations, he could also know that he does have a couple extra heal mores for safety if he so desires.
Only 92 agility on Vani's side, still enough to make the decision to run from a red dragon, and Vani gets away from his first red dragon first try.
Taking the lead, but gets a golem on the staircase.
They're on the same square again, folks!
Oh my gosh, that's a nail-biter out there. So Vani stopped by an Axe Knight. Sylverfyre takes the lead again, and clears the floor with Vani taking another red dragon counter.
It'll be interesting to see if Vani uses the Death Necklace. It'll give a little bit of extra strength, but they'll get less double attacks. Which way is better? It's kind of hard to tell for sure at this juncture, but we'll see if he uses it either way.
So Sylverfyre takes a commanding lead in steps ahead, gets a couple floors ahead, and gets down to the bottom floor with Vani having been tied up with a red dragon. Vani's got steps to make up, however,
We see things evening up just a little bit as Sylverfyre suddenly hit by a wave of golems on that long hallway, but Vani tied up with a golem of his own. They are still very close together.
Vani, unfortunately for him, being held up by an Armored Knight, one of the hardest enemies to run from, but gets away, and also, too, now makes it onto the bottom floor.
Yeah, the distance lead for Sylverfyre is sizable at the moment, but there are still a lot of squares left, and Sylverfyre's finding a red dragon on those desert tiles. Actually, I think that one was right on the bridge.
So we have our mini-boss. It is the Stone Man. I don't know if Sylverfyre knows that the Stone Man has fire and heal more, but chooses to run from that and heal up after the Dragonlord breath is unleashed.
I love that decision, but I'm a little worried about this battle. Sylverfyre could afford to lose a heal more with all the double attacks they're going to get, but what is going to be the result of this battle? It's anybody's guess. Hopefully a 3-shot here, and yes, there's the victory.
And Vani goes straight into the battle as well. If he does remember about the the heal more, perhaps he would stop spell, but he chooses not to at this point, and he is just... Oh, and Vani's casts heal more. He has to go through the fight all over again.
Sylverfyre entering the Dragon Lord fight is probably going to use all of their herbs before delivering the final blow if the Dragon Lord uses Hurt more. Excellent move on Vani's side, taking down the Stone Man without Stop Spell, and electing to use herbs to heal despite having extra magic, but that's perfectly feasible. There's really no way Vani can lose the Dragon Lord fight. The problem is they're just a few steps behind. Sylverfyre blazed through the first form really fast, and I think Sylverfyre is going to prevail in this race. It's so close, though. You can't ask for anything better than both players fighting the Dragon Lord at the same time. What a race this has been. Congratulations, kudos to both players. Whatever happens. Vanivan entering the second form. 2 15s in a row, and with that attack, it did too much damage, so he's gonna have to heal more here, not get crippled.
Yeah, this has been an amazing fight, or an amazing game by both runners so far. Sylverfyre chooses to heal at 48. I've got 95 on their count so far.
With 95, I definitely like the decision. Unfortunately, Sylverfyre getting a double attack, so absolutely no difficulties here whatsoever. Sylverfyre heals up and will emerge victorious shortly. As Vanivan is so close behind, this was such a close battle.
I've got 138 on my count so far. To 151, so they will do this within a couple attacks here.
There's the last heal more. Sylverfyre totally safe here, and there's the final blow.
And brings the Dragon Lord down. Peace is restored.
Vanivan with 5 heal mores left has to be only 2 or 3 attacks away. You couldn't have asked for a closer race. This is absolutely amazing. GG to Sylverfyre. Congratulations on a seed. Very well fought.
And Sylverfyre finishes with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 21 minutes, and 48 seconds. And Vani coming in very close to the end. He is a lot more MP, remember, so we'll have to assume that he is going to be done within an attack or two. And there we go. Vani has also taken down the Dragon Lord, covered the ball of light. And we will very soon see that dot done. Vani is finished in second place with official SRL time of 1 hour, 22 minutes, and 22 seconds.
Only 34 seconds apart. Absolutely amazing. Probably the closest finish of the tournament so far. An absolutely epic race from start to finish. Super close all the way through.
And so we've got Sylverfyre in the waiting room here. I'm going to bring them in. Hello, congratulations.
Hello, wow, that was kind of messy. That was a lot of deaths.
That was an adventure, though. Congratulations.
An adventure through many, many swamps.
Wow. Yes, there were quite a few swamps in that. The beginning,
that was a lot of deaths.
Very swamp-locked, but that was an adventure, though. I have no words for this. The two of you put on an amazing show, and congratulations. Yes, there were quite a few swamps in that. The beginning, like we couldn't have pictured, such a close finish at the end, and it just came together so nicely. The two of you put on an amazing show, and congratulations. Like we couldn't have pictured such a We will have Vani here in a moment too. He just says, "Give me a minute." Together so nicely. I really just want to go over it both when both of you are here. So how are you feeling? We will have Vani
I
give me a minute.
Made a mistake on my map because I was kind of running off the left edge of my page.
So how are you feeling? Oh dear. Yeah, I guess you did start in the very far east. Now that I think of it, there wasn't really much else to go east. And everything to the west, of course, was swamps for a little while. So we're just waiting on Vani to jump into the waiting room here. Any second he should be here. So how are you feeling about your fight? You were taken down to the last heal more, but it did look like, the numbers were pretty solid.
Yeah, like I wasn't worried once I saw them. Like once I counted how many double turns I got, and that was really what that fight came down to.
Yeah, I noticed sort of midway, close to the end of it, there was a minimal attack, but then all of a sudden you got
Yeah, it
you got a
started
double
off with like
attack.
a 10 and an 11, and that was real awkward.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to be welcoming Vani in here as well. Hello.
Hello.
Congratulations on an amazing race between the both of you.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was extremely close throughout. You guys both got 3 slimes and a red slime to reach level 2 at the exact same time. You both entered Sharlock at the exact same time for your final dive, and it pretty much just came down to encounter RNG. Sylverfyre actually took strength agility and perhaps got better luck running away from enemies, but it was only slight. You guys were so close together, and it was just so epic for us to watch. So thank you on behalf of all of us for the show you put on for us.
Yeah, happy to do it.
Yeah, it was quite the show. Like for the first little beginning, the both of you were very very similar in your strategy, except in Silverfyre did decide to sell the death necklace, and that let you get a little bit of a gain, and then Vani got to exploration, and the hands were just changing over and over again over who was in the lead, and up until the very end, like Vani always had the experience lead, but Syl, you kept up very well in exploration and other things, and in the end, you ended up winning at 1 level less than Vani did. So that was very intense at the end.
You know, I considered when I was looking at my HP and my attack point total, and I saw that I only had, I think, like 8 heal mores at level, what was it, 17? I'm sorry, at level 15, excuse me.
Yes.
I was like, you know what? Do I just go down there with 8 heal mores, slap on the death necklace, and just hope to kill him in like 8 turns?
No, you don't
But
slap on the death necklace, but you do go down with that level. You have too much strength for the death necklace to be a valuable asset.
Okay. Well, so I was like, you know what? No, let me see if I can get a little more magic points. And then level 16 gave me, I think it was like 28 or 29.
Yeah, I think it was
29 extra magic points. So that was basically like, 3 heal mores right there. So I knew, okay, let's go. And yeah, I got to say, when I got to the final floor of Charlock and I'm looking over at IRC and I'm just like, why has Syl not done yet? Did like her console crash? Was there like an emergency? Like, how is this even real? And then as I'm fighting the Dragon Lord, I still don't see a done. And I was just like, wow, I'm going to do this. I am going to do this. As the messages are scrolling up for thou hast defeated the Dragon Lord, I was just like, yes. And in that moment, I look at IRC and I'd see the done, and my bleeding, trampled heart is now sitting on the floor of my garage right now. And I just don't know how I'm going to be able to scrape it back together and jam it back into my chest.
Aw.
The thing that made my heart shatter into little pieces is every time I got through that huge swamp and I immediately run into the fun police after like throwing 2 herbs down just to get through the swamp.
Yeah, that seemed to happen a lot. It was really difficult getting a heal spell so late and having so much swamp around you, having to
Mhm.
buy herbs just to explore. And of course, both of you had similar difficulties with that aspect, which is just kind of a natural progression.
But I mean, that was
Ye-
just such an amazing race. I mean, Syl, of course, with your intuition for the game, you knew at the time, when it was time to go. But Vani, I mean, someone who's so new to playing this game, you did amazing. You like were ahead so much of the time, and just great job to both of you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, when I realized that I was on the wrong side of that island to get the Erdrick's token, I knew that was costing me. When I got the princess and decided at that point all I needed was the token, I was like, all right, do I turn her in and go search, and the last thing I hadn't found was Hawksness. So I was like, do I go find Hawksness? And of course, that was way down in the corner. Once I saw that was the fairy flute, I was like, that hurts too. So I knew it was just a series of things, and I figured by the time I was grinding for my last level, I was going to see that dot done, just kind of knowing how this seed went. But the further I went along, the more the more that the hope was swelling. But no, it's I mean, to me, to lose this race by, what was it? I'm looking at the times here. What, 34
34
seconds? 34 seconds. I mean, it doesn't show up on the stat sheet, but to be able to hang with Sylverfyre in this situation, I'll take it. So
Yeah, that's certainly a rough seed. The thing that really caught me up was the little peninsula that the Dirk Cave was on. I think the first time I went in that direction, I died to something and didn't find, like, I didn't explore that little peninsula to the southwest of Cole until much later. Like, I went south. I knew where when the coordinates were given to me, I knew like what that they would be down on that little south area, and I just got I rescued the princess just like immediately, knowing that I would need to count. But wow, I just could not, like, I literally walked over the whole world all over again just to find the Rainbow Drop Cave.
Yeah, sometimes that happens when the last location is off in a corner somewhere, really isolated. Sometimes it
Mhm.
can take a lot of searching to find it.
And I still don't know where Hawksness was.
So it was like way southeast of the swamp caves, which I like how I find the west swamp cave, and I see the one right next to it, and I was like, well, let me guess where this is going to spit me out. And then when it spit me out on the other side, I'll walk down and I see the bridge right below it. If I would have walked down like 3 more tiles, I would have been like, oh, this is connected. I didn't even go through all that. And I was just like, cool. All right, whatever.
I loved that so much. It was so cute. And shout outs to the Sparkover Bridge, like right as you left the castle. A plus.
Did you
Oh,
squeal when I searched
I
it?
forgot to search it.
Okay, well there we go. That's why I lost, because I took the time to
No,
search
no,
the
you win a
Sparko
moral
spot.
victory for that one.
Oh. But yeah,
Maybe
that was
maybe I'll get somebody that forfeits before their match next week to make up for the car.
Well, no matter what the result, this was an absolutely awesome race, and I'm so glad to be a part of commentating it and getting to. Thank you guys so much. Congratulations to Sylverfyre for the win, and Vanivan demonstrating you're going to be a force to be reckoned with, like so many in this tournament.
Yeah, I certainly hope so.
Well, any other thoughts, friends?
This was just an interesting seed to run for a tournament race. I mean, getting Erdrick's sword so early didn't take very long to get Erdrick's armor either. I think our first heal spell came at what, like level 11 or something like that. It was way late. We didn't even get heal until much later. So and especially with there being so many swamps out there, it was definitely It was definitely an interesting start. There was lots of great things and lots of bad things too. So, but I guess it all evened out, and I'm honestly surprised I did the seed in under an hour and a half. So, so yeah, just try and build off this one, I guess.
Absolutely.
Hey, again, for your first time showing up in a tournament, you put on a beautiful show.
Well, thank you, Sparkover.
All right, well, if that's just about it, then I believe we are done here for the night.
Absolutely. Good luck to both of you next week. Looking forward to lots more exciting tournament matches in the future.
So thank you so much for joining us tonight, everybody, for the Dragon Warrior Randomizer Tournament on RPG Limit Break. We are going to be raiding Randomania, who is doing another tournament match, this one between Jake Hoper and Chitin 619.
The fun continues and the races never stop. We're gonna have hundreds literally of matches in this tournament. It's gonna be an absolute pleasure.
So thank you so much for joining us tonight, everybody. Shout outs to our crew for putting this together, Demarine for doing the hosting, and sorry, and to I think it was Aliger Brap who's tracking for us. Thank you so much again to the racers for putting on a great show. Have a lovely night, everybody.
Good night, everyone.
Good night. Good night.